What's going on, YouTube? It's okmall. Today we have some very exciting news. The devs just announced the release date for the Rags to Riches update, which is going to be the biggest update for Stoneshard in Stoneshard history. It says here, hello everyone. This is the final devlog dedicated to the upcoming Rags to Riches update, which is going to be the largest in history for Stoneshard. So today, as promised, it is going to be December 16th. So make sure to set your guys' calendars. It's gonna be amazing. It's a good Christmas gift for sure. So it says plan your holidays accordingly. We almost can't wait to show you the results of our work, but for now, it's the perfect moment to review the progress that we've made so far over the past year and go through every addition to the game that we'll be waiting for you on the 16th. So, as mentioned, we've already covered all of these devlogs, and we were a part of this journey the whole time. So we've covered every single one of them. I have a video corresponding to every single one. So we're going to briefly read these. So we already knew about the Caravan, getting the updates. Caravan updates, most important system that will massively impact your approach for traveling and map exploration. With the Caravan, you'll be able to cross large distances swiftly and comfortably, as well as set up personal camps upon arrival. Any empty map tile will do, be it next to a dungeon, a settlement, or a point of interest. We have the upgrades, right? So we covered the upgrades extensively when these devlogs released. A lot of good things that we can do to make our lives a little bit easier throughout the Stoneshard journey. These upgrades are designed to further enhance the quality of caravan travels and add utility to our camp. In Rags to Riches, there'll be a total of 25 upgrades, starting with the basic bonuses of the caravan travel distance and speed, all the way to personal shrine and ability to gain reputation for killing enemies around settlements. And then really that was devlogs 1, 2, and 3 accordingly to the upgrades there. We talked about the followers in a previous devlog. So with the help of Baron, you'll be able to recruit up to 3 caravan followers who will support you out of combat by selling supplies, offering repairs, or speeding up your leveling speed. Oh, they can even increase your leveling speed. Each caravan follower is a unique character with their own recruitment quest, unique perks, dialogues, and caravan events. Much more time to spend with your character, the higher their loyalty will be. The settlement situations, these are like different things that can happen just dependent on what you do around a settlement. Settlement situations will introduce a tad of unpredictability to your adventurers. They exist in the form of village events and temporary NPCs, ranging from groups of pilgrims and competing mercenaries to traveling fairs and disease outbreaks. Situations always bring new opportunities or complications, affect the local economy, and are partially dependent on the area's danger level, which is mostly connected to active dungeons nearby. Again, there's a related devlog, and I'm glad they kind of put these in here. So if y'all want to kind of like touch on base, because this is a very just some dimmed down version of what they covered. Dungeon reworks, we already covered the fact that they're redoing all these dungeons. They're going to be much harder since they're so much more open. It's harder to funnel enemies in and fight them one-on-one. So we're going to change our dungeoneering strategies when going to dungeons now. The dungeon generator went through a massive overhaul. Narrow corridors and cramped rooms gave way to a spacious hall. Their visuals properly reflect each dungeon's tier and measure of opulence. Different dungeon types have their own structural quirks. For instance, much of the crypt loot will be stored in special sealed tombs, while the catacombs will greet you with double doors and numerous libraries. We've got dungeon modifiers. So the dungeon modifiers effects that can take place in a dungeon either randomly or as a consequence of a failed contract. Very interesting. They introduce additional complications that need to be taken into account during your expeditions, such as poisoned air in the crypts or an ongoing ritual that empowers every proselyte in the catacombs. Proselytes are already bad enough, now they're going to be empowered. The contracts got reworked to keep up with the dungeon's rework. The contract system received a major update as well, boasting a slew of new objectives that don't boil down to just killing a mini-boss or even looting their treasure chest for a quest item. Naturally, many old contracts were also updated with additional mechanics, conditions, as well as the challenge. Additionally, the new system is expected to make the whole world, or the whole world feel more alive. Contracts will be on a constant rotation, simulating the efforts of other mercenaries, both successes and failures. There will also be changes to the process of taking contracts. You'll now have an option to inquire about the dungeon's size, some of its modifiers, receive a hint about the mini-boss residing there, and even request an advance or a hackle for a better reward. We have our new settlement, Denbray, which is going to be the last in the tier of the current settlements. Consider this tier 4 because they did add a tier 5. Denbray is the fourth and final settlement of the Grand Magistrate. Hardly any of its inhabitants survived the war, and most of the village lies in ruins. And the only thing keeping it garrisoned is entirely deserted, as its active salt industry. Nevertheless, an experienced mercenary can still find a contract or two here. The magistrate's forces in the region are in dire need of reinforcements. We've got outskirts. Outskirts are a new location type situated around the villages and the Rotten Willow Tavern. They serve as rest stops of sorts, offering your mercenary a chance to recover and resupply, as well as opportunities to accept or even turn in a contract for an alternate reward. Let's see here. Reworked economy. The economy saw significant improvements, such as an additional of price fluctuations, the simulation of price and demand, and the ability to earn coin by purchasing all kinds of trade goods in outskirts and then selling them somewhere else. Other than that, there's a lot of quality of life additions. For example, all traders now feature hovers that contain all the important info about their prices and preferences and their quirks, which is this right here, I believe. The global map changes, so a lot had changed. Now, a lot of these they either covered it during a devlog or they teased it on their Discord, so I've seen a lot of this already. But as you can tell, if I haven't covered this in the devlog when they haven't covered this in any of their devlogs. This is Osbrook, and it's actually moved from the other side of the screen all the way over here to the east, the northeast actually. Manshire, more or less, same spot. Same thing with Bryn, basically the same spot. But yes, Manshire did get a move. I think the Rotten Willow as well got moved. It moved over here. From the looks of it, this is where Varen came out from. So they even moved that on us. This is going to be the Rotten Willow. And then all the way down where I don't think we can even see it just yet. Denbray should be along the river or the sea or whatever this is going to be, a lake, all the way down here. So big changes to the map. Many locations were moved to new spots on the global map, making your character's journey through them more gradual and organic. After completing Odar's quest in Osbrook, you'll now be directed straight to Bryn. Oh, straight to Bryn, really? Well, you'll promptly gain access to your caravan and receive loads of rewards after the settlement from Varen. All Bryn contracts were moved to the Rotten Willow and to Denbray, with the city itself taking upon the role of a commercial hub, which you'll be visiting from time to time to purchase new equipment from some of the caravan upgrades. With they added cooking, I know a lot of you out there have been really excited about cooking, so this is awesome. There's nothing better than a hearty campfire dinner after a day of completing challenging contracts. And now you'll be able to cook it yourself, choosing from 40 possible recipes. Each dish comes with its own special effect, capable of boosting your immunity, sanity, fatigue resistance, and even some combat stats. Very, very cool. Dishes can also be imbued with various spices, granting them additional bonuses. We got our consumables crafting, which will probably expand upon this menu that we see here eventually. The crafting system will offer you a chance to create certain consumables with the ingredients you find in the field. Excuse me. Provided you're familiar with their schematics. In total, Rags Riches will feature 15 crafting recipes, allowing you to cobble together a whole selection of handy items, from smoke bombs to healing salves. We have our new mini bosses, which is freaking awesome. I don't think they ever covered this in a devlog. This is all stuff that was kind of teased. So if you weren't a part of the Discord, you might not have seen this. The crypt will become home to seven new. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? There's 2 other ones that we don't see here. That's cool. Warlock skeletons and even a wraith. Each has unique abilities mechanics that will require clever strategies to defeat. We got new items. In fact, there's 5 new chest plates, 1 helmet, 2 necklaces, 2 two-handed swords, 3 two-handed maces, 8 daggers, 2 more shields, 6 types of commodity goods, 15 valuable items, 10 ingredients, and then 5 bags, which I know for a fact you all have been waiting for brand new bags. Now, these bags have been like teased over a year ago, and we're finally going to get it in Rags to Riches. So this is one instance of it. It's just an herb bag, so you'll be able to carry little potions, herbs, and a couple slots for something else. So we got the reworked reputation system, which, you know, everything's getting reworked, so it's great. We also decided to revisit reputation system to introduce a bit more nuance to it. Rather than featuring samey shared perks, every settlement will now have its own set of bonuses, including unique ones. For instance, the Embrace Magistrate Frontier make the completion of the contracts the fastest way to earn Bryn Rep. We have equipment, enemies, abilities, and rebalances. This is the part that is the reason why this took so long. It was more than just adding new things to the game. It's literally a rework from the ground up to make the things that they were doing actually work without you going into a room and dying to 5 enemies because they all surrounded you. So for those of you that have been complaining about it being way too long between updates, there's reasons behind it, and they go in to tell you about this. But in Rags to Riches, they decided to drastically shift their approach to enemies, dungeons, and equipment progression. All of the above will now function based on tiers from 1 to 5. This change solves several issues, and first of all, it allows them to spread the existing content throughout all 30 character levels, while providing a simple and intuitive way to gauge the danger presented by each enemy or dungeon, or quality in case of equipment. The system will incorporate many previously underused pieces of gear and make the persistent problem of unattainable equipment, the availability of which changed back and forth with every single patch, a thing of the past. Now, obviously, such a system wouldn't be possible without a complete rebalance of most of the existing content. Therefore, all gear and enemies and some of the abilities received major stat tweaks. Equipment in particular was affected the most. Every weapon and armor type will now have 2 to 4 distinct subtypes that support different character builds. I like that. Survival updates. So they updated the survival tree. This is stuff I'm going to cover a little bit more when the game gets released, but definitely some weird changes here in how we get down into the survival tree. Survival tree received numerous changes, both in terms of its overall structure and some individual skills. For example, butchering, a skill for harvesting meat and from slain animals, will be available to all characters from the start, while the ability to harvest pelts and rare ingredients are now tied to resourcefulness. Since the schematics for crafting bedrolls will also become universally available, Make a Halt will function quite differently. Allowing you to receive vigor from sleeping in camps and bedrolls and granting a noticeable boost in vigor itself. We got other improvements. Rags to Riches isn't about those updates, but we have other changes. So they updated the enemy pathfinding algorithm, allowing it to efficiently account for factors such as active AoE zones, bodies of water, and nearby allies, which made its results much more believable. Enemies will now use their dash to chase the character down and attempt to spread out in open areas and choose better routes for escape. That's terrifying. This game's already hard enough. They reworked the AI states to make shifts between them more fluid and logical, while also allowing for more flexibility during any future adjustments. They reworked the noise system for extra predictability and transparency. So attracting enemies to the location should no longer require you to throw half a dozen bottles against a nearby wall. That's lovely. They reworked the dungeon's loot system, switching to a much more flexible and speedy algorithm that offers more options when working with containers. Reworked the technical aspect of the save system, optimizing the size of save files and reducing load times. Okay, I didn't really see much of an issue with that, but okay. Greatly improved the system for resetting the state of locations by introducing a more modular design. Dropping an item inside of a settlement no longer means that it'll stay there for months. Oh, they finally did it, chat. They finally did it. Oh no. You know me, I drop all of my stuff on the ground. Okay. For months. While previously harvested mushrooms, berries, and other vegetation will now actually regrow after some time. Reworked random enemy spawns, both in dungeons and on the surface. Reworked random enemy spawns. Transitioning them to a system based on a mix of archetypes and pre-made templates. Change the principle behind enemy spawns in the open world, removing their absolute dependence on your character's level. Ooh. And instead, each enemy type will be tied to a corresponding zone on the map. So there's no longer can we just traverse the whole map and expect to be fine. There's going to be harder enemies the further out we go. These zones will grow more dangerous over time, but only to a certain point. For example, a tier 3 plus, or sorry, yeah, 3 plus tier enemies will never show up in the relatively safe zones around Osbrook. Okay. Optimize the algorithm for generating roads, dungeons, and points of interest. Automated the interactions between our dialogue writing tools and the game's engine, allow us to create dialogues with more speed and convenience than before, when every connection between dialogue lines was manually added to the game code. So 1,500 new dialogue lines, several new points of interest, added 12 new Steam achievements and changed some of the old ones to make the hunt for them less soul draining. Added many new sound effects, remade and improved many other old sprites. And with that out of the way, they're going to talk about the future here. So after the release of Rags to Riches, they're going to the updates are now going to be more modular. And they talk about this before because when they were doing Rags to Riches, they couldn't just kind of release small updates because if we say here, where every new and reworked system is part of the same gameplay loop, it relies on everything else to function as intended, right? So that means that if they did these smaller little updates to kind of help us along and keep us content, they would have to rewrite everything from the ground up. This is the last one, the last update that they can now start building upon towards the end game. The volume of work was truly immense, often leading to unforeseen mid-development realizations and the introduction of certain features that would require us to rework or add an entirely different mechanic. However, now that the Caravan, last major system planned for the game, is complete, they can finally switch to a modular content-based updates. They'll show the specifics with the roadmap here, but there's a certain risk that comes. There's a certain risk that some currently unstable content will be postponed and added through follow-up hotfixes after the releases of Rags to Riches. Although they intend to do everything in their power to wrap it all up by the announced date, this mostly affects some of the new contracts, dungeon modifiers, followers, events. They've also got working on a new type of point of interest, caves, which they will be presenting as a surprise, but they might require a bit more time to iron it all out with the generation issues. That should be it though. Super exciting stuff right there. Love to see it. It's been a long time coming, and obviously with the update this big, you got to give them credit. They definitely put their hand to the grindstone. I don't know what you want to call it. They definitely put a lot of work into this, and they definitely thought about what the future for Stoneshard is going to look like. So expect those modular updates. I'm excited about that. So they finally got it to where this is we're on the home stretch. 100% we're on the home stretch. I'm looking forward to it. We can no longer use our town's base as a just way to drop all the items off to the ground, so that's unfortunate for me. You know me, guys, I like to put all my items there so I can see it at a glance. But we have the Caravan now. We can expand the Caravan's inventory, so we can just use the Caravan as our offloading site. But I also want to hear you guys' comments, your thoughts down below. So don't forget to leave a comment. I will respond to every single one of those, and I hope y'all are just as excited as I am. And with that out of the way, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and family. We'll catch y'all next time. Bye.